Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. We did start the program by saying it is the end of Child Protection Week, and it culminates today in a ceremony where Lebo Tinani is broadcasting live from Inshoshanguve in Pretoria, where we'll be looking at a host of things, looking at how we improve the quality of life of children and make sure that they're protected. Lebo, good morning once again.
Well, very good morning to you, Sir Marshall. Thank you so much for joining us. As he had said earlier, we're coming out of Soshanguve in Pretoria. This is the closing ceremony for Child Protection Week, which kicked off on the 31st of May now. Part of Child Protection Week is, of course, child development, which is early childhood development. And to talk to us about this from the department is Chief Director in Childhood Development in the Department of Social Development, Musa Mbere. Ma'am, good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners.
What is this early childhood development? What are we talking about when we throw around this term?
Well, when we talk about early childhood development, we are talking about the foundation that we are building for our children in terms of their emotional, psychological, cognitive, physical development. This is a way of giving them a good head start in their lives in terms of their development as children. Children have got developmental stages from babyhood to the time until they go to school. And there are certain milestones that they have to reach as children during those developmental stages. And early childhood development gives them a chance for stimulation and also for them to learn before they go to school, so that they are ready when they go to school, psychologically, socially, emotionally, and cognitively.
Let's talk about childhood centers specifically and what's the department's role in there, and how do you ensure that there's adequate facilities in these centers?
At the centers, we have the legislation which we call the Children's Act. That is the legislation that guides us in terms of all the work that we are doing for children. In fact, this is for all the departments for government. It's just that social development is leading. Then we have regulations that regulate everything that we do, from the infrastructure to the type of people who have to be there, who have to go through the screening with the CPR, the Child Protection Register. And also we have norms and standards. Norms and standards also guide in terms of how many children should be in what type of space and all that. And then we have guidelines for people who are working in those centers so that they know how to go about with their work. And then the Department of Basic Education trains the practitioners on how to stimulate and also help children to learn as they develop.
What about cases of child abuse that have been reported at some of these child care centers? How do you monitor that? What does the department do to ensure that this does not happen?
Well, the provinces are supposed to monitor what is going on in their districts and also local offices and also local programs. How we monitor that is, in fact, we ask parents to be our eyes and ears in terms of that, because we can't be all over the place monitoring what is going on. And we would like our parents to be aware that if there's something that is untoward that is happening, which they are not happy about, they should report. They don't even have to disclose who they are. They can report anonymously. And then the social workers to go out and investigate and find out what is going on.
Speak to us about the National Childhood Development Centers audit. What came out of that?
Well, the audit looked at different issues. It looked at issues of governance. It looked at issues of infrastructure. It looked at issues of the package of programs that we have for children. It looked at the issues of funding. And that has helped us to find out what is exactly going on the ground, so that as we are developing the policy, because we have a draft policy which we gazetted in March until the end, on the 24th of April. And we have received a lot of inputs, and we're still receiving inputs. And we just recently had dialogues in the Western Cape And with those inputs, that will guide us in terms of what we put in the policy, which we are now consolidating for us and then we'll take it through the approval processes.
Let's talk about the privately owned or privately run childhood centres. How do you ensure that they comply with the government standards?
The private centres are supposed to register so that they can follow the regulations of government, even if they're not getting funding from government. Because according to the Children's Act, when you take care of someone else's child, then government has to come in to ensure that those children are well cared for and protected.
And for families who send their children to early development centres, what do they look out for? What are the signs that they should be looking out for?
Firstly, they must look out for issues of safety. Where the children are, it should be safe. Children should not be crowded in a place that has no ventilation, for instance, and there are too many children in a very small space. They must also look out for where they play, the outdoors, where they play, and make sure that it's safety. Also, they must look out for the fact that the place is registered. Mm-hmm. The registration certificate should be on the wall as you come into the center, which tells you that the place is registered and therefore it is regulated. And we can also go in there, we call it inspection in loco. You can go there unannounced just to check what is going on as an official or as a parent.
All right, Chief Director, thank you so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
Chief Director of Early Childhood Development in the Department of Social Development, Musa Mbere, talking to us about various issues, including early childhood development. What is it? There was an audit that was conducted for 2014 and various issues came out of there. We will continue to talk all things Child Protection Week, which is ending today. And the theme this year is protecting our children together. That is a theme for 2015. And then we will speak to the Minister of Social Development, Dlamini, in the next hour, so stay tuned.